What is good, y'all? C-Bell back again. And today, man, oh my goodness, the trades are getting going. You can tell the finals just ended. Teams are firing, man. I'm loving it. And I'm especially glad that Kevin Durant got traded so early because if y'all pay attention, every year it's like that. The biggest name has to get traded for everybody else to start going. Like it's the first domino to fall, and after that, teams start firing, and that's exactly what's been happening. We already talked about a couple of the earlier trades that happened, but the main ones I want to talk about now are um the Pelicans trading CJ McCollum and Kelly Olynyk to the Wizards for Jordan Poole and Saddiq Bey, and then a second round pick. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I like the move for both teams. I like the move for both teams. We talk about the Wizards first. They both these guys are gonna be rotational players for him. I know Kelly Olynyk's been in and out of rotations at times in his career, but I expect him to get some decent run off the bench for them. Uh, and CJ McCollum, we know what he can do. They're gonna have a pretty dynamic starting five. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but yeah, I think that he's definitely gonna bring veteran leadership, which is something that they greatly need. And especially with like some of their young guys being guards, it's going to be great for them to have a guy like that in their locker room and just on the court for them. And other veteran leadership that they have on the squad at this point, they got Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart. So with those three combined, y'all, like I know, I know that's nothing great. They're not gonna make like a crazy playoff push or anything like that. I wouldn't expect, but they're gonna be a lot more competitive in games than they have been previously. I think they're gonna be kind of like the Pistons or the Rockets from a couple of seasons ago, where like you can tell they're still a young team and they're not there yet. But pretty much every game, like they're there, they're competing. That's kind of what I'm expecting from this Wizards team moving forward. I just talked about this, but earlier today or yesterday, Ace Bailey was talking about he actually would like to go to the Wizards. So if they're able to get him too, y'all, that like, hey, a wonderful offseason for them. Just a little cherry on top for the Wizards. They're gonna have a lot of cap room after this next season with these guys being on expiring contracts, so that's another bonus for them. As for the Pelicans, y'all, um, Jordan Poole and Saddiq Bey are both younger versions of what they got traded for. They're I know with Saddiq Bey has kind of fallen off a good amount, but whenever he was in Detroit, he had some massive games. Like I don't know if y'all remember, this dude dropped 50. You can't drop 50 and be a bum. I'm not gonna lie. I've been a big Saddiq Bey guy. Throughout his tenure in the league, I'm a fan of him. He gets after on both sides of the ball. He can be dynamic at times. I know he's a little bit streaky, but still. And for Jordan Poole, we all know Jordan Poole. He's gonna be flashy. He's gonna have his nights. He's not always gonna be consistent. But man, you can kind of say the same thing about CJ McCollum, right? Like he's definitely more consistent. He's a veteran in the league, but Jordan Poole fits the timeline a lot better than CJ did. So I'm assuming they're wanting to see a little bit more growth from him, kind of make better decisions and all that. But I'm not gonna lie, throwing him on a team with Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Zion. I'm not even trying Yavis. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say that brother's name. But man, that's gonna be fun. They're gonna have some great pick and rolls. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, moving forward, after that, we got Kristaps Porzingis was involved in a three-team trade, so he went to the Hawks with a second-round pick. Terrence Mann and Atlanta's number 22 went to the Nets, and Georges Niang and a second-round pick went to the Celtics. Real quick, for the Celtics, that we all know who Kristaps is going to get moved. This is a good move for them. They got underneath the second apron with this move, I believe, which is huge for them tax wise. Um, and obviously, like Georges Niang's not going to be a big piece of their team moving forward. I wouldn't really assume. Um, this is definitely just like a payroll type of trade, trying to get underneath that second apron. For the Nets, they now have like 4 or 5 first round picks in this draft, which is insane to think about. And Terrence Mann was a part of this trade as well, which we all know he's a solid player in the league. 3 and D type of guy. He can create for himself a little bit here and there, but mostly a 3 and D guy, which is never a bad thing to have in today's NBA. But I really think like they can't draft 5 guys in the first round this year. Like there's no way. I definitely see them packaging up like 2 or 3 of these moves and trying to move up in the draft and maybe get a guy like Ace Bailey. Who knows? But I definitely see them wanting to move up with this additional first round pick that they got. And for the Hawks, they got KP in a second rounder. I don't know. Uh, I'm a Knicks fan, y'all, so I'm never gonna be big on the Hawks, but like this really doesn't do it for me, especially if we're gonna get the same version of Kristaps that we saw in the playoffs. Like he just wasn't that good, y'all. I mean, I know he was dealing with some illness or condition that they didn't really disclose what it was, but I don't know. Maybe if we get the Kristaps that was like on their championship run a couple of seasons ago, then that would be kind of dangerous. But at the same time, yo, I'm really the rest of that Hawk squad just doesn't really do it for me. Like they got a couple pieces. We know Trae Young. He's gonna get after. He's gonna get those points up. He's gonna get the assist. He's not always the most efficient. Zachary Ricochet, he had a solid rookie season. And I mean, I'm a big Dyson Daniels guy. I love the way that Dyson Daniels plays the game. But I just don't know if that starting 5 is doing it for me. They'll probably continue to be low end of the playoffs slash play in team in the East. I'm sure they're going to make a little bit more of a push with the East kind of being injury prone with Dame, Tyrese, and Jason Tatum being out with torn Achilles for probably all of next season. So I'm sure they can maybe move up a spot or two, maybe get out of the play in this next season. But I just don't see this trade being anything substantial in a sense of making them real competitors. With that being said, bring on the trades. Bring them on. I love them. I love them. I love this time of year. We got the draft tonight. I'm looking forward to that. If y'all haven't seen my draft video, I talked about a few of the prospects that aren't really getting talked about as much as they should be, that I'm a big fan of personally. So if y'all haven't checked that out, go ahead and look at that. Anyways, peace.